Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Beirut.com's podcast, Beirut Buzz. On our last episode, we had a chat with MMA champion Sandra Sukkar, so if you haven't given that a listen, make sure you go check it out. Today's guest is a little different, but she's powerful in her own way. I have with me Verena El Amil, and if you don't know who that is, she is currently the youngest female candidate running in the parliamentary elections. She must have taken over your screen at some point during the uprising a few years back, so we're very happy to have her. Hi, Verena, how are you?
Hello, Taleen. Happy to be with you.
And the feeling is mutual. I love talking about everything related to politics.
Me too.
So this is right up my alley. So my first question, and I'm really curious in know how you found yourself in the world of activism, because I know protesting and revolting are things like everyone can be a part of, but I think activism is a little bit different.
Actually, to be honest with you, it was never a decision. I was always interested in politics and change. I was always, if you want, take like a rebel since I was in school. During my first year of university, long before the uprising, I was active back then, trying to change the political scene, if you want. In my university, I was a law student back then at St. Joseph University in Lebanon. There was no alternative or a third voice between 8th of March and 14th of March. So I started with the movement Talib with few friends. Anyway, so what I was trying to tell you that because back then I felt frustrated, so I felt like, okay, no, I don't want to choose. It's not either this or that. No, we can have, if you want, the political creativity or something like that. And no, we can change thing if we believe in ourselves and if and our will of change. And then I was active in the uprising in 2015 and in the uprising in 2019. But as I told you, it was never a decision. It was automatic. It was maybe led by passion and I always thought that عن جد we can change stuff. إذا عن جد we can believe in ourselves, إذا عن جد we mobilize, إذا عن جد we organize, if we have a clear vision. So yeah, and now it's it's another way of change. I think it's an accumulation. I don't think إنه هلا in the parliament إنه هيك we're gonna هيك إنه change everything, etc. But it's a first step.
Yeah, I think إنه أكبر like problem اللي عم يواجهوا اللبنانية هو the first step, because it's really the hardest step to make. فإنه that's very understandable. هلا I know إنه like activism is also a thing that I like to be a part of, بس I never really considered running for elections. Like, when did you decide إنه لا خلاص أنا بدي أكون that voice for the Lebanese people and I want to run for the elections?
Okay. Listen, as I was telling you, maybe everything was هيك إنه شوي automatic, بمعنى إنه running for elections. It's been maybe a year. Many groups were like encouraging me, telling me, why not in this district and that district, etc. If you want the drive of هيك ليش I am running أو شيء, it was clear to me since day one. And it was about doing the youth mobilization. It was about, that would be before and after the elections. It was about setting our discourse, the progressive discourse of the youth that was very obvious during the uprising. أنا at first my two options were Beirut or Matan. وهلا بركي لآخر دقيقة I was running in Beirut. بس صار شوية هيك maybe conflicts بين groups I felt إنه maybe better إنه نزيد the tensions I went to Metin is where هيك I was born and lived كمان so في a certain link بس so إيه إنه هيدا هي الفكرة and I think إنه my aim in هيدا is to if you want هيك encourage other youth to be more political, more invested in politics, to run بركي كمان next time أو this time إنه إذا لحقت كنت أو كمان إنه يحسوا حالهم concerned بالelections وهيك يحسوا يعني إنه they are part of this, they are part of the decision making. إنه to me إنه if we as youth إنه هيك إنه we're like إنه مش إنه more responsible بس إنه we cared أكتر إنه maybe we could have impacted the things وبركي كان إنه الكرايسيس هلأ شوي أقل مما هي علينا especially إنه at the end إنه it's the youth that are mainly paying the price as everyone who live in Lebanon but the youth specifically you know we always feel no we don't have really a choice to stay or leave لأنه staying here means إنه compromising على إنه many things that we want على many dreams we want maybe حتى إنه I know it from my friends from my generation إنه they all left the majority left but it wasn't really a choice you know it wasn't a choice it was never a choice.
Yeah, I completely understand. The majority of us know at least one person that left to عن جد it's very heartbreaking وأنا كمان at some point I tried to leave and I came back من وراء الوضع بس إنه coming back made me realize إنه لا إنه ما بدي فل بلا ما أجرب because إنه بالآخر هي بلدي وحيكون بلد ولادي وولادي لا إنه I want to achieve
honestly I don't want to hey the new generation to tell us I didn't do anything it's because of you like some of us tell their parents or the older generation you know the war and etc we have the trauma because of you and we have this drama because you weren't aware enough because you didn't make them accountable you didn't hold them accountable so no I don't want this to happen I just want to I prefer to say okay we tried فشلنا بس at least we tried
yeah أكيد وهو إنه people should stop blaming the older generation و focus on شو بده يصير لبعدين يعني ما فينا نضل ما فينا نضل طلع لورا I like إنه كل ما أسأل سؤال you just answer the question that I have following up this is going to be a very quick podcast so how do you think you'll be able to cater to the younger voices compared to the older candidates لأنه I think a lot of them are either متحزبين or like maybe they appeal إنه أنا مثلا I would prefer someone closer to my age I'm 22 finally able to vote يعني I would look for people who are within my age group how are you trying to cater to the younger voices?
Listen I think it's as you were saying I'm part of this generation and I'm if you want representing our aspirations our dreams our discourse the progressive discourse thinking and talking about the Lebanon that we dream of so I don't think the authentic part I think makes it easy to reach to our generation because I'm just one of them أنا حدا كتير هيك من كلنا من حدا عادي so that's the part most importantly I don't want people to vote for me just because I'm young okay the youngest people no I want them to vote for me because they believe in me in the program and because they agree with my political discourse so yeah
هلا أنا I saw when they published the list and you are running with Na7wal Dawla.
Yes.
So what exactly are your core values as a candidate and how do you think what can you tell us about your list Na7wal Dawla how does it represent you?
Okay. So Na7wal Dawla is a coalition between جيل التغيير my campaign which is a youth campaign. And I encourage all the youth to be part of it because it's really cool. لا عن جد انه هيك انه بركي المينيموم انه هيك الافريج age هو عم بيكون maybe it's like 20 years old انه deciding together everything putting the program together. Anyway, and Lucien Abu Jaili from Matan للناس. And there's an independent lawyer, Miriam Jabir, and there's Shaden from مواطنون and مواطنات, and there's Jad Ghassan. So it's a coalition. It's a list of coalition. So it's the only list that has opposition groups, only opposition groups in Matan. My core values, if you want, what I want to focus on is the issues related to the youth, first of all education, and everything اللي خاصه بكل شيء labor law, immigration هالاشياء. اكيد اول شيء يعني انه ننزل سن الاقتراع لل 18. ما عم بفهم هيدا الشيء انه in Germany, France كل محلات صاروا انه بدهم انه يكون 16 because I'm already 16, so I really don't see the point why it's 21 and not 16 and not 18. So هيدا it's a priority, especially that عن جد انه this generation, if you want, انه خلص بيكونوا انه they don't accept concessions, انه they believe in change, انه عن جد بيقدروا يقلبوا المعادلة. I think that's why they are afraid of this كمان. And on the other hand, I think what's important to me is the judiciary independence. I think it's key to build a proper دولة مثل ما نحن نحو الدولة. And on another hand إنه في أكيد النظام الضريبي يكون إنه عادل، يكون في هيك equality, social justice, especially إنه يعني بمقدمة الكونستيتيوشن تبعنا إنه أول شيء بيحكوا عنه لدى 9 هو المساواة اللي مش موجودة بولا شيء. وأكيد بالنسبة لي إنه يكون في يعني personal status law يكون civil، يكون unified للكل، يكون في كمان equality بين الكل. وهذا شيء كتير مهم. وعلى فكرة في شيء ما حدا عم بفكر فيه وخلص كأنه خلص نحكي أوكي women empowerment، أوكي youth inclusion fine، women empowerment وكوتا وما بعرف شو، بس إنه في شيء كتير مهم اللي هو إنه الكفالة، إنه كيف يعني نحكي عن إنه women's rights وما بعرف شو، إنه وبعدنا نحن قبلانين بالكفالة، يعني إنه I really can't get it، إنه I really can't understand this. So yeah, maybe هلا عم جرب أتذكر البوليت. وأكيد في قصة الدولة وقت نحكي عن الدولة إنه there's always إنه المونوبول تبع إنه السلاح بإيد الدولة. So this is key in my opinion كمان. So yeah, that's it. إنه in brief هلا أكيد I will be publishing soon videos of my program etc. بس إنه yeah.
Okay, great. And we'll make sure to link all of this information for our listeners, for whoever is interested. Do you also mention how people can join maybe your coalition? Is that they're up for
the campaign, the youth campaign?
Yeah.
They can go to Insta تبع جيل التغيير and there's a form إذا فيهم يعبوها. And that's it.
Okay. Easy as that.
Yeah.
طيب كتير منيح. At least it's less complicated than how voting works in our country. بعدني أنا ما بفهم. أنا إنه هالسنة أول سنة في صوت وعن جد صراحة ما بعرف شو بدي أعمل، يعني كيف بدي أروح وكيف أفوت وكيف.
The electoral law, in my opinion, is really bad.
It is.
Honestly, it's really.
I like إنه كل شيء عم تخبريني إياه. I agree with so far everything. خلاص حبيتك. هلا
لا أنا بعلي شوف Okay.
بس لا I would have considered it صراحة لو I was in متن أكيد. فما زال you brought up the issue of women's empowerment وكفالة. Have you heard the phrase the personal is political?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, for our listeners اللي ما بيعرفش يعني the personal is political, usually it started first as like a feminist collective during the second wave feminism sometime in the 60s, but now it's more like talking about how personal experiences are connected to like political structures, social structures in the country. So my question was, how can you relate that to yourself as a woman in Lebanon and as a candidate?
الفكرة إنه what I was trying to say إنه I was talking about كفالة قبل إنه this is neo-esclavagism in my opinion. We can't talk about human rights, we can't talk about women's rights. إذا ما بنشوف كل الجوانب okay, representation in politics in parliament is important, is key, etc. But if we don't have a progressive and feminist discourse and feminist program that's inclusive, I don't think I don't see how فينا نحكي عن women's rights. So I think أكيد الحقوق تبع كل اللي عايشين بالبلد اسكي، الحقوق تبع كمان الاميجرانتس كمان هيدا شيء أساسي بالنسبة لإلي. فما فينا نحكي عن حقوق الناس وما نكون عم نحكي عن حقوق كل الناس in my opinion.
Yeah, 100%. For anyone that doesn't know, I think today the anti-racism movement, they launched a racism monitor, and it's for anyone who witnesses like any racist incident, something that happened to anyone from a minority group, they can report it to the anti-racism movement.
And this is super political كمان when we talk about ما بعرف women's rights. أنا بالنسبة لي it doesn't mean anything if we don't هيك if you won't push for a secular state, if we don't talk about المحلة والشخصية as we were saying before. So it's interconnected.
Yeah, 100%. I wanted to talk about whether you faced any criticism, not necessarily لأنه قررت to run for elections, but maybe for the values you represent. لأنه بعرف I've spoken to someone from مواطنون ومواطنات, and they told me about how they were judged a little bit by their maybe their family members, their community, because they ran in opposition while there were sectarian parties also running during the elections. هاي elections الماضي. Have you experienced anything like this type of criticism?
In terms of criticism, هلا أكيد in the beginning my parents weren't really هيك into this. They weren't very super supportive, but I think خلص when we know why we are here and what we are doing, and when we are convinced and we have the confidence, I think خلص at the end everyone will بالآخر if not support you but understand you. هلا I've had a lot of criticism you're young, it's a dirty game, you're a woman, where are you going and why are you doing this? And I can't deny that it's tough, it's not easy, it's not an easy game, and it was even maybe tougher than I thought, but it's part of the process. It's part of the change. So I think أنا بالنسبة لي when they tell me you're young, what are you doing? أنا بالنسبة لي لا it's something positive I'm young, but I know what I'm doing. I'm young بس إنه I have the abilities and capabilities إنه حتى بنشوفها مثلا إنه ما بعرف بالcorporate field or whatever إنه إيه بيكونوا they're young بيكونوا إنه in maybe إنه high positions and no one looks at them إنه you're young إنه why in politics بنصير بدنا هيك لأنه نحن معودين هيك على النظام الذكوري النظام الأبوي فلازم على طول الزلمة اللي بيشتغل سياسي يكون زلمة هيك اوثوريتيريان عشوائي مجمع هيك ناس حواليه انه ويعمل زبائنيه ويعمل خدمات انه لا نحن انه this is النموذج يلي بدنا نحن انه that we want to break انه that's why نحن بدنا نفرجي another way of doing politics based on a program based on a vision based on a dream so yeah.
I think there are many campaigns or many like meetups that are being organized to like encourage women to talk about politics. So I think if we have any person like who is interested and is too scared to like get involved in this field, maybe check out the page Na7wal Dawla or any other female candidates that are running, and maybe you can find a little bit of inspiration. There are still talks going around. I'm not sure who is doing the campaigning about encouraging women in politics, but we'll make sure to look into that so that we can let everyone know, let our listeners know. For our last question, خلاص, we're wrapping up. What advice do you have for people who wish to take the same path as you?
What's my advice?
Yes.
Okay. I advise them, first of all, not to listen to anyone and listen to their inner self. هلا أنا to be frank at some point يمكن إنه بالمحلات اللي ما سمعت لحالي هن المحلات اللي اندمت فيهم حتى بكل هالبروسس. So I think أول نصيحة هو إنه عن جد listen to your gods, listen to yourself. أول شيء believe in yourself, believe إنه عن جد you can change, believe in the will of change. And I think يعني هيدا أكتر شيء بقدر أقوله. I know إنه maybe it might be tough بس إنه once we have the vision, once we have the will, I think إنه everything will be easier. وكمان في شغلة إنه surround yourself with إنه كمان dreamy people لأنه sometimes إنه everything becomes starts with a dream. So ما تخلوا حدا يقولكم إنه لا stop dreaming or نزلوا على أرض الواقع أو إنه لا things are not هالقد بيوتوبيا اللي أنتوا عايشينها. So بلا إنه I think إنه change ببلش وقت نحن إنه هيك we dare to dream فإنه
yeah. For everyone who is eligible to vote, حتى people who aren't eligible to vote, I think the best thing I could recommend as someone that is still too young to run for elections is try to have conversations with هيدي اللوائح اللي عم تنزل, شوفوا their values, try to find
حتى engage with them, work with them. أنا بتذكر 2018 I was running Gilbert's campaign in Beirut 1 فإنه بالعكس إنه if you can't vote بالعكس you can do a lot. فيكم تشاركوا بالبروجرام, فيكم تشاركوا بالكامبين, بكل شيء. أنا remember إنه يعني last elections كمان إنه we did a campaign ما في صوت بس صوتي عالي, so إنه صوتكم عالي حتى لو ما فيكم تصوتوا. So I think it's about هيك إنه نتشجع وناخد الانيشيتيف يعني. There's a lot we can do. There's a lot we can learn. It's a whole process. We're still learning. So what's most important, in my opinion, as citizens, هلا to engage بحيالله طريقة. By voting, by working with campaigns, by helping with campaigns, by reading electoral programs, by having an opinion. So I think this is key.
100%. Hopefully after this podcast everyone is inspired to be more involved in politics.
I hope so.
Thank you so much for joining our podcast. It was such an honor to have you.
Thank you. The pleasure was mine and I am honored. Thank you.
The Beirut Buzz podcast is brought to you by Beirut.com and is available on Apple, Google Podcasts, Facebook, Spotify, and Anchor, as well as our YouTube channel, Beirut Videos. So don't forget to follow and rate it if you enjoy it. Make sure to leave us your feedback and drop some suggestions for potential guests in the comments. Until next week.